I missed my flight because my Uber got a flat tire. 6 hours later, I watched that same plane crash on the news. I've always been pathologically punctual. My friends joke that I'd rather wait an hour at a restaurant than arrive 5 minutes late. It's not a quirk or a preference, parent. It's a full-blown anxiety response that's followed me since childhood. Being late makes me physically ill, so when my alarm didn't go off that Tuesday morning in August 2018, I woke up in a cold sweat, already 40 minutes behind schedule for my flight from Chicago to Denver. I was supposed to be presenting at a major conference, parent, my first speaking opportunity at that level, potentially career-changing. I called an Uber while simultaneously throwing clothes into my carry-on, skipping breakfast and my morning coffee. The driver arrived quickly and I calculated I could still make it if security lines were reasonable. I kept checking my watch every 30 seconds, my heart racing. 20 minutes into the drive, we hit rush hour traffic on the Kennedy Expressway. I was tapping my foot so hard the driver asked if I was okay. Then came the sound no traveler wants to hear, part the unmistakable thump, thump, thump of a flat tire. I am so sorry, the driver said, pulling onto the shoulder. I can call you another Uber, but it'll be at least 15 minutes. By the time the new driver arrived and navigated through worsening traffic, I knew I had no chance. I called the airline anyway, hoping for a miracle, but the gate had closed. The customer service agent rebooked me on the next available flight. Parton 6 hours later, Part and I emailed the conference organizers explaining my situation. I spent those 6 hours in the airport lounge, alternating between working on my presentation and berating myself for oversleeping. My boss was understanding but disappointed. The conference organizers rescheduled me for the following day. Everything was fixable, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I had failed at the one thing I prided myself on, Pertel reliability. My new flight finally boarded around 3 p.m. As we taxied to the runway, the captain announced a mechanical issue that needed checking. After 45 minutes, we returned to the gate. Another hour passed before they canceled the flight due to safety concerns. Frustrated beyond belief, I joined the massive line at customer service. That's when I noticed people gathering around the terminal, TVs pointing and covering their mouths in horror. The flight I was originally supposed to be on, Parrot, the one I missed by minutes. Parrot had experienced catastrophic engine failure shortly after takeoff. The footage showed smoking wreckage in a field about 70 miles from Denver. Of the 142 passengers and crew, there were only 37 survivors. My phone started buzzing with texts from family and friends who knew my travel plans. Playlist telling me you weren't taught on the flight. My mother had already called the airline in tears. I stood frozen watching the news coverage, unable to process what I was seeing. The same seats I had selected weeks ago. The same flight attendants who would have greeted me, panel gone because of a series of inconveniences that had felt like disasters at the time. That night in my hotel room, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about how my entire life's trajectory changed because my alarm didn't go off. How the Uber driver's flat tire wasn't a setback but a lifeline. How my pathological punctuality nearly killed me and my rare tardiness saved my life. I still gave my presentation the next day, though I don't remember much of it. What I do remember is calling my parents afterward and telling them I loved them. Then I called the Uber driver who got the flat tire and thanked him, confusing him completely until I explained. I guess sometimes being late is exactly where you are supposed to be, he said. 4 years later, I am still punctual for most things, but I no longer get anxiety when I am running behind. Sometimes I even deliberately leave a few minutes late, just as a small acknowledgement that the universe might have its own timing. What's your butterfly effect story? Has a small inconvenience ever turned out to be something much more significant in retrospect?